welcome to another episode of What's the Topic. I'm your host as always, Matt, better known as Jasper Reviews, and with me as always my co-host Luke.
How's it going?
I wonder how many episodes we've done of this now, because I can't even remember. I think we're getting near to 30, which is pretty surprising actually.
A fair few.
Ugh, we'll have to do something for the 50th, the half century. To do something special
100%,
for it.
That'd be cool. Definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, what are we talking about today? We're going to do a WandaVision recap. I thought it would be good because there's been obviously WandaVision this week. I think, is it Friday? Falcon Winter Soldier starts, doesn't it? The new Friday coming.
Yeah. I think the 19th. Yeah.
Yep. So it'd be good to just do a recap, just talk about what we overall thought of that series, because now it's all kind of died down. I've had time to think and work out my actual feelings. We'll talk a bit about sort of Falcon Winter Soldier, what WandaVision can learn from. And then, annoyingly, we're going to have to talk about Justice League because we've dug our own grave with talking about the Snyder DC trilogy, and now we've got to finish it off.
I told you when we started this, but I didn't want to do this one.
Yeah.
I was specific. I do not want to do this movie. Again. But here we are.
It was our own fault. We shouldn't have done the trilogy with... We're our own worst enemy, to be honest.
Yeah, well, that's it. We've got to do it. We'll do it. We'll do it justice.
Yeah, exactly. So let's talk about WandaVision. So, now the series has ended and you've had a week to think about it. You've had a week to sit down, read all the reviews of people going mental. What are your thoughts now on WandaVision?
They still haven't really changed much. I'm not as... pissed off as I was about the finale anymore. Now I have time to think about it.
Yeah,
obviously we watched that. We did our podcast literally the morning after we watched it, right? So we were both quite passionate.
It was all quite fresh. Yeah.
I think as a whole it was actually a very good season, particularly for Marvel's first ever show. I think they did a really, really good job of it. I still had problems with the finale, and I still had problems with the way the show went. But all in all, I think it was actually a very good show. Good start. Yeah.
Yeah. I as I thought about it, I thought, overall enjoyed the series. I think it got wonky and kind of fell apart a little bit near the end. But what I would say is, because Feige, when they announced Phase 4, all these TV shows were part of it, weren't they? It was all like, oh yeah, well these are like the films now. So if you want to be part of this story, you got to watch them. And obviously, like stuff like Netflix shows. You can watch them or not. It doesn't really matter when you come to the films. You don't need to know that. And I felt with the way this ended, it seemed like, well, if a normal audience member goes into the next film, they don't actually have to watch WandaVision. I don't feel like it actually added that much. Because you could just watch Doctor Strange and just be like, oh, okay, that's what she's up to now. Like, not much has actually happened. It's like a side story. So I don't think they're actually that confident in the series yet to be that game changing. Yeah.
I think they've definitely got to approach it with caution. I mean, let's be honest, like a lot of people are not going to be watching these series. I know a lot of people that haven't, that would go to the cinemas and watch all the Marvel films but are still yet to jump into their Disney Plus subscription. So you've got to be kind of cautious, you know. Yeah. It's just going to add to the story more, isn't it? Similar to a comic book, you know, when you come to like a big epic storyline. If you'd read all the little mini stories beforehand, it's just going to add to it. But yeah, you can still get enjoyment out of films, 100%.
Well, you know, some people do just they go and watch Avengers films, and they're like, well, those are the only ones I want to watch. That, you know, those big ones. And if you watch all the Avengers films and nothing else, they do make sense. To a point, I think that Endgame is probably where the one they went, you got to keep up now at Endgame and Infinity War. But in all honesty, they all make sense and they all follow quite nicely. So I feel like, they're still a bit cautious. They're saying, let's not do too much, which is, I think everyone obviously got carried away with theories and whatnot. I mean, some people are saying it's the fans' own fault for coming up with these theories and overhyping themselves. And then obviously there are some people on the other end of the spectrum who say, well, this was built for that. And I'm on that end of the spectrum that I'm not disappointed that my theories don't come true. I don't mind that. But to say you shouldn't be theorizing is wrong, because that's what they want you to do. They want talking, they want speculation. I think for basically nothing to come of it was very disappointing, actually.
I agree. I completely echo that. And there's nothing wrong at all with theorising. Without theorising, it wouldn't get as many people into the seats. Like, can you imagine a world where fans didn't speculate what was going to happen in Endgame?
Yeah.
Like, what's the point? That's ridiculous. Like,
I think the difference is how you react, because, you know, my theories, I thought Mephisto was going to be in it, and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Like, I'd like to see that. But if it doesn't happen, I don't care. I don't care that much. But some people are like furious. They're like, oh, how could they do that? And it's getting that balance of. I think the series was there to tell a Wanda story, which I guess it did. But that's then the problem, isn't it? Then people just they get carried away and get annoyed that it doesn't happen. But it's like, well,
yeah, but I mean, there's some things where you know you might not necessarily say people got carried away. Like, for example, like we know we are fully aware that in the next Spider-Man film and in the Doctor Strange film they're introducing the multiverse. So if you're going to dangle on Evan Peters in front of us, then I'm sorry, but a fan's going to put 2 and 2 together and they're going to say that obviously he's from another multiverse. And I get that, like, there are certain things which you have essentially put in our face and said, this is what it is, and at the last moment have done a complete U-turn on it. Like, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, that's not the fans' fault.
Stuff like that is bad, where you're actually putting, you are physically putting it out there and then kind of snatching it away again. So, like, the Evan Peters thing, that was an element that did really frustrate me, because I thought, you know, you're saying don't theorize, but then you're putting in this character, like, you know why you've done that, so of course people are going to talk about it. Stuff that doesn't happen, like a Mephisto, it doesn't annoy me, because I'm like, well, that's just my theory. But
agreed,
like you say, like, dangle that, it's like dangling a carrot, you know, and then you pull it away. So that wasn't fair. That did annoy me. But overall, I did enjoy the series. It was a good series for Wanda. What I didn't like was the finale, because you have this slow build of this mystery, and how did it end? Just ended like an MCU film, you know? Like, well, that's what we were building up to, just two witches throwing lasers at each other. And that CGI, looking back, was very wonky at times.
I mean, tonally as well, this is different from anything we've really seen in the MCU. So once again, as fans, we have the right to theorise and speculate that this is going to go in a completely different direction to what normal MCU shows and films do, And it completely didn't. It completely became an MCU spectacle, didn't it, in the end? So the fans are not to blame. The fans are not... That whole idea of lowering your expectations is bullshit. And, the fans are not to be held accountable. At the same time, though...
I think you're to be held accountable if you're kicking off because your theory didn't come true. That's when you're held accountable.
Of course. So that's a minority, isn't it? That's a minority. Like,
let's be a bit too intense about it. Yeah.
Exactly. And at the same time, Marvel have, they've got a fucking high, what they've done up to now is nothing short of incredible, miraculous, what they've done with their movies. And credit to them for us as fans to actually believe that that is a route they could have gone in. Because you wouldn't hold it past them, would you? Because of how great they've done up to now. Yeah.
What do you think Falcon and Winter Soldier then can learn from this?
What can it learn from this?
Yeah, well, for me, I think it's the mystery box style of storytelling, which I hate. Just setting up mysteries. Because I think if you set up mysteries, the payoff is never as good as the mystery. Which is something... I don't think Falcon and Winter Soldier is going to be built like that. Because it's basically just going to be like a spy-esque drama, like crime thriller show, which I'm not massively looking forward to it, because it's not going to add many elements to the MCU, but I do think they need to... It's only 6 episodes as well, isn't it?
Oh, is it? Cool.
Yeah, it's only 6 compared to WandaVision, which was 9.
That's
good. I just think it needs to just tell more of a coherent story. I imagine what the story's just going to be. We're going after Zemo. He's up to a plan. What's his plan? That's the gist of it,
I think there was actually there was some sort of in the trailers. There's pictures and stuff of them actually together, like talking, as in like being in like they are together. Zemo, Bucky, and what's his name? Sam. Yeah. Like, I wonder if there will be. I'm not theorizing. I'm not going down that route, but I wonder if there will once again be another bigger thing at play here. There's all this talk, isn't there, about the Thunderbolts being introduced in some capacity in this, because you've obviously got Thunderbolt Ross coming back into it as well, haven't you?
Yeah, that would be cool.
Yeah,
I just don't think, I don't think many... Sorry?
No, I was just going to say, once again, not theorising, not speculating, although that's definitely what I'm about to do.
Yeah, it's what we're about to do, aren't we? In a few weeks as well.
Well, there was talk as well about this this city they go to, who in the comics is run by Wolverine's wife. Have you read all this stuff?
No, I've not read this, no.
Okay.
I tried to keep away.
Let's leave that until we start
properly, you dangled it in front of me and took it away.
No. I'm just saying there are some Wolverine elements introduced here. There could be some Weapon X stuff being introduced, but I'm gonna leave that shit until
Reed Richards.
I mean, yeah, who knows, mate? If episode 1 doesn't end with Reed Richards appearing, I'll be pissed off, mate.
Yeah, you're not in. I mean, Falcon Winter Soldier will be a different show compared to WandaVision. I just think it does need to be careful that mystery box style of storytelling. Overall, that WandaVision was a very good show, and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the early episodes, but the finale was not my cup of tea, as it were.
I agree.
It was not for me. So yeah, that was a little bit.
Rating out of 10?
A little bit frustrating. Rating out of 10. Give it a 7.
Yeah, I echo that. 7.5.
Very strong start. Much more different to anything we'd ever seen. And then, just kind of.
What are we putting
apart.
a 10 as? Like, Infinity War is like our 10, right?
Yeah. Give Infinity War a 10. It's on the MCU spectrum. It's on the better side of things they've made.
Yeah,
but not amazing. I mean, I won't be going back to this show.
I'm gonna buy it on Blu-ray.
You love the Blu-rays.
I have to, mate. I've got every single MCU movie sitting there in Blu-ray, staring at me right now, with the exception of Iron Man 3. So I will be buying it and adding it to the collection. Did they not
release a big Infinity Saga thing?
Yeah, they did. They did, Joe.
Yeah. How much was that? I swear that
I don't know.
A lot of money.
Not a clue. I started buying those before they released it. So
yeah. I'm gonna have a look how much that is. Because
I'm going to take a stab at it. I reckon they're charging about 55 quid.
I'm going to say... How many films are there? I don't know. Like 100.
22?
I'm going to say...
22,
you're saying
23
£50.
55 quid I'm going to go with.
Say, oh, that's cheap. That's £2. That's like £2 a bloody DVD.
Have a look.
No. I'm going to say £170.
No chance.
Well, Marvel Studios, the Infinity Saga Collector's Edition. That's what you want, surely. £400, that is. That
fucking hell.
Yeah. Let's search Infinity Saga. Yeah, it's Infinity Saga DVD collection. You can get Phase 1 for 28 quid. So why the fuck... That doesn't sound like a good deal. This is like all collector's edition.
400 quid? Does Thanos deliver it himself?
Yeah. Snaps it to you. Yeah, 400. Region free. Yeah, Marvel Studios, the Infinity Saga Collector's Edition complete box set. I mean, it's got a nice little pattern on it. It's got Thanos holding up his Infinity Gauntlet.
Unless it comes in a gauntlet, I don't want it. It's not worth the money.
Yeah. Trump
Who's
wouldn't take
paying
that deal. Don't know. Someone obviously is. It comes in it comes in like a little glass casing to like prop it up. It's got like a little book for you to read through. It's got loads and loads of bonus stuff, mate. It's a great deal. Let's buy it.
All right, fair enough.
So what's that? 23. What's that? How much is that a DVD? Let's work that out. If there's how many films say they are?
22, 23, I think.
Well, if it's 23, it's £17 a DVD.
Well, that's just ridiculous, isn't it? That's just
absurd. Some of these films were released over 10 years ago.
Yeah, I'm sure you could probably buy Iron Man 1 on Blu-ray for about 6 quid.
Yeah, even less, but you can just find it in the bin.
Very true. Very true.
You see old Zack Snyders Justice League? That's coming to Sky Cinema.
I did see that, yes.
Yes. What did you think? Before we talk about actual Justice League, let's talk a little bit about this. Did you see... well, I know you did, because we had a discussion about it. My tweets in the week of the trailer release for Wonder Woman.
Yeah, you didn't like it, did you?
And how bad it looked.
Yeah, it didn't look great.
which is a bit worrying. Because as we were about to come on to Justice League and talk about how atrocious it looks, that did look very bad. That looked really bad. The background, it's just all the CGI background looks terrible. So yeah, I'm a little bit worried about this film. And there's been some leaked footage of which I've watched, and it looks wonky. It don't look right. There's a scene with Batman that got released with Ben Affleck, and his acting is not great.
Well, so hold on. You know this got leaked. It got leaked, didn't it, under Tom and Jerry or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so did the whole film get leaked?
The whole film got leaked, but they took it down after like an hour and a half, 2 hours. So you didn't have time. Someone on Twitter noticed. He said, I should put on Tom and Jerry. He looked like a grown man. Don't know why he's putting Tom and Jerry on. And then it was the Snyder cut. And then everyone got involved. But I guess it was only for a 2 hour period. I think most people caught an hour of it.
Imagine shoving Tom and Jerry on for like your kid and like leaving them to it, and like Darkseid's just like causing havoc. Like,
how much Darkseid do you think there's going to be in this?
I don't know. I reckon there's going to be more than we think, though.
I think there's going to be less than everyone thinks.
Oh, really? I reckon there's going to be a fair bit of Darkseid involved in this.
I think there'll be upwards of... yeah, then again, it's 4 hours. I reckon 4 or 5 scenes of Darkseid.
You reckon?
4 or 5? Yeah. They've got the flashback. They'll redo.
I think it's safe to say Darkseid won't be eliminated by the end of this movie, because originally they were going to film Justice League and Justice League 2 back to back, weren't they? So I reckon some of this is definitely going to end.
I think he's confirmed. Snyder's confirmed this ends on a cliffhanger. It does end on a cliffhanger.
So there you go. All of our speculation over the past 6 months is true. He wants to get the next gig. He wants to make that next.
I think
film.
He will.
Yeah.
I think he will. I think he'll get it. I think he'll make another. I think it's highly, highly possible he will make another. I'm very interested because Snyder reckons he's only filmed 5 or so more minutes of additional footage. And the original Justice League is 2 hours long, and this is going to be 4 hours long. So, and he says there's going to be nothing from Joss Whedon's cut in this.
Well, you know that's bullshit then, isn't it?
Yeah, also, how can you ever tell that? You know,
and what, you're telling me that before they filmed all the stuff with Jared Leto as well?
Sorry?
That you're telling me that before they filmed all the stuff with Jared Leto?
No. He's saying, I think he said the footage he's filmed is Jared Leto.
Yeah.
He's filmed a scene with the Flash and the Martian Manhunter scene. That's all he's filmed. So, he says it counts to about 5 to 6 minutes, and nothing from the Joss Whedon cut will come. But that's what I mean. Is like how big budget films work. Is you film it, you get a rough cut, and then you come back, you reshoot, and you probably add a fair amount through your reshoots, because you look at the rough cut and you're saying, right, this and this don't work, or we need to alter that scene a bit with like a new cut of dialogue. So there's always a lot of work to go. So I can only feel that he completed, say, 80 to 90% of this film and needed to reshoot loads of it. And he's saying, no, I don't need to reshoot most of it. So they're saying they filmed it and basically reshot the entire film. I just don't understand. I feel there will be a lot of stuff from Joss Whedon in here to pad it out. You're saying that they basically came away, he had 4 hours of footage, and they just went basically 3.5 hours of it. No, leave it. It's gone. So
interesting. Well, we'll find out in 4 days, won't we?
I'm looking forward to it. I'm very much looking forward to it.
We'll find out on Thursday.
Yeah, exactly. We'll find out. Well, as we've padded a good amount of time there, let's talk about the ending to Zack Snyder's trilogy of DC films, Justice League. Don't tell me it's not a Snyder film. It is a Snyder film. It says it in the credits, a Zack Snyder film.
The end of Zack Snyder's trilogy without Zack Snyder involved.
No, it's a Zack Snyder. It says he wrote the screenplay and he directed it. It's a Zack Snyder film. This is how he intended it to end. So, I tell you what, even though it's not a good film, it was a good palate cleanser to be ready for Zack Snyder's film. it just warmed up my taste buds, ready to go. Ooh, what's to come next?
Oh God.
So I'm gonna say some. Okay. I want to make it clear. It's not a good film. I don't like the film. It's worse than the previous two. But it's not all bad, and there are things I like in this.
I will echo that.
Yeah. And I also think Joss Whedon, terrible bloke, terrible man, he gets a hard time for this. I don't think this is his fault, what this film is. I think what happened, the reason this film is like it is purely financial. If Batman vs Superman made, $1 billion, they would have just made Zack Snyders Justice League. Now, I'm not saying Batman vs Superman's a flop, but it underperformed. I think it made like 800 million, which is not good for two of the biggest characters. You look at like the Transformers films. They're crap. They are awful. But they never changed because they made $1 billion every time. Yeah. And if Batman vs Superman did that, it would have done this. And I don't blame Joss Whedon for this because there are Whedon-esque elements in it, but it doesn't feel like anyone's vision. It's very much a Frankenstein film, and it's it's just bland. It's just blur. It's just nothing. And Batman vs Superman, although I say it is a bad film, I do kind of like it because at least it's a vision and you can dissect it and talk about it. This is just it is just nothing. And so that's why I don't really blame Whedon. I think Warner Brothers just went, here's $10 million to do the reshoots, but do them like this, please. And he's gone, okay, fine, I'll do them like that. And he got a great payday out of it. Yeah. So I'm going to talk about some things I like, and you can tell me if you like these scenes or not. These are the parts I do genuinely kind of like in this. I like Wonder Woman's fight scene in London. Yeah, when there's the guy with the bomb. And she takes out the room, and then the guy's like, I've got 4 bombs, and she just gets 1 bomb, and they don't really talk about the other 3. But whatever, I'll move past it. Yep. I like when Superman fights everyone, fights all the Justice League.
So do I. Yep.
That's a good scene. Although the colouring looks awful, and rewatching this, I didn't realise when they obviously forgot to recolour it all. Yeah. Because at the start of the scene, when they go into the ship to resurrect Superman, it's dark. It's black as night. It's like a Zack Snyder kind of colour grading. Then when they leave the ship to go fight him, it's basically daytime. Yeah. Because but I remember in the trailer when they showed that fight, because that's obviously Zack Snyder, what he made. It was dark. It was dark as anything. So they obviously recolored it, turned up the color grading, made it all light, and it does look awful. It looks like some of the characters look fake and rubbery, but I like the scene. And my favorite part is when he headbutts Wonder Woman, and I like it because it's funny. But that is very good. Yeah. I like Batman's line to the Flash when the Flash says, "What are your superpowers?" and he says, "I'm rich." That's a fun little line. Yeah, that's a fun little line. This is my favourite part of the film, when Wonder Woman punches Batman. Okay. When Batman's like, "Yeah, what about your dead boyfriend, hey?" And then she just hits him. He's like, "Jesus Christ!" I like that scene. I like it. And I like Superman beating up Steppenwolf. I know.
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool.
I know it just undermines the reason of having the Justice League, but I like the scene. So leave me alone.
I think, in all honesty, every single scene you've said, with the exception of when she hits Batman, it's not really my cup of tea. But I echo everything you've said there. I think they're all of the scenes you've nitpicked out there are the best scenes of the film, without a shadow of a doubt.
And it looks like those were probably all Snyder's scenes, I think.
Yeah, more than likely.
Oh, I love it when Wonder Woman punches Batman. It's brilliant. Batman's so mean. He's so mean for no reason, and she just fucking clubs him in the chest.
I actually wrote down about Batman, and it really frustrates me, actually, because, like, apart from bringing the team together, like, he doesn't really do anything. Like, no, he doesn't really have any importance, like, to this film.
Yeah.
So, go on.
No, I was going to say, it's funny, when they fight Superman, so they all go off to fight Superman, and then Batman's just behind them all, like, running across the green, like, panting along, and then just sort of standing there, and then he obviously gets beaten the shit out of by Superman.
Well, he did exactly the same thing in fucking BVS. He's just like hiding everywhere, isn't he? Like,
yeah, he's clearly lost his mind as well, is what I would say, because all of a sudden now he loves Superman and he thinks he's the greatest thing ever. Despite, you know, a month ago he tried to stab him with a spear and tried to kill him in a very brutal manner. He threw a sink over the man's head, and a month later he's like, oh my god, he was the reason everything was so great. I mean,
very quick turnaround. Very, very quick turnaround. Yeah.
And do you know what? I don't blame that on Whedon. I don't think that's reshoots. I do think that was Snyder's idea, because by the end of BVS, he does like him.
Yeah.
He is like, yeah, you know, he was a good man. But he has lost his mind. He's not right.
Which is quite annoying, isn't it? Because in BVS, I feel like there was a little bit of complexity to his character. I really liked Bruce, like going into this new psyche of Bruce Wayne, and in this we get nothing, absolutely nothing.
And Ben Affleck, he is bad in this. Yeah. He is very bad, and he doesn't look great. He looks bloated. He doesn't look muscular. And I know he was dealing with alcoholism. You know, I don't want to, you know, have a go at him for all that. You know, it was all because obviously he came back for the reshoots and he's all bloated and puffy. You can really tell it in his cheeks, his face, his chin.
Jesus Christ, you're very harsh, aren't you?
I know, I've been... but I tell you what, the thing that upsets me the most, like, I can accept that, you know, he had his own problems, but it's the wig. The wig changes scene to scene, and it's so upsetting. He's when he goes to meet Aquaman, he starts on the top of the hill, and he has a trimmed down beard. By the time he gets down the hill to speak to him in the bar, he has a full beard, his wig has changed, and then it cuts between, like, Aquaman talking to Ben Affleck, and the wig, the hairline's changed completely. And it's for me, it's so noticeable. I know for most people go over their heads, you know, because why would you look at something like that? But for me, it's like, oh my god, like, you can really tell where the reshoots are here.
It's funny, I didn't even notice that. Seriously.
Yeah, his wig changes all the time, and you can really tell the reshoots. Like, I know I said the Wonder Woman scene I like where she punches him in the chest, but you can tell how much of that is reshot because he's looking a bit bloated. The wig is all slicked back. You know, usually is the Widow's Peak, which is the Dark Knight Returns look. You know, he has that little cut down it, but then for this, it's like all slicked back and the wig is not right, and because he's also put on a bit of weight, which doesn't help. So it is really, and Ben Affleck is really half-arsed in it. You can tell he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah.
But I don't know, is that because of the reshoots, or because, remember when Batman vs Superman came out, there was that sad Ben Affleck meme when they were talking about how the film had got bad reviews, and he, you know, and it was always constant speculation that he wasn't happy with the film and he wanted to move away because, you know, he just got his career back and now he'd been in something that wasn't, you know, sort of universally loved, and there was always talk that he was stepping away, and obviously eventually he did.
Yeah. No, good point. Very good points. I mean, obviously, like we said already, like, he was obviously suffering quite a bit in his personal life as well, so, like, look, we don't know the ins and outs of it, do we? He couldn't have hated the role that much because there was all the speculation around the same time that he was going to do his own Batman film. So
yeah, I think overall it was probably the alcoholism that stopped him, and it's like, this is too much effort and work for someone that's his heart needs to be fully in it, and it's just not. I hate Batman in this. And this is where I do blame Joss Whedon. He's cracking too many jokes.
Yep.
Like, there's like the part where Superman's like, oh, I didn't think you did it because you like me, and he's like, I don't not like you. It's so annoying.
He weren't like, cracking no jokes in BVS, awful. Man.
Yeah.
The one joke in BVS was literally, I thought she was with you. That was it.
Yeah. No, he didn't say. I was about to say he says she joked to Martha when he's like, I'm a friend of your son's, but she says the joke. She's like, I thought because of the cape. You know, he says like, what's the other one right? Oh yeah, something's definitely bleeding. It's just like, oh, that's not what Batman should be doing. I like that.
And even if that's not Batman, that's not the Batman that you showed us in the other film. Yeah.
He's fucking branding people, and now
he's like thinks he's a fucking comedian. Yeah.
And that's not who Batman is, and there's a Green Lantern comic. I can't remember what it's called. I think it's like Green Emerald or something like that. It's a comic. Hal Jordan died in the comic run in DC. He was gone for like 10 years, and then they did a comic where he came back, and all the Justice League are like welcoming him back, shaking hands. And I think this is the essence of Batman, because they don't trust Hal because he went crazy in the old comic when he died and turned on everyone. And Batman's like, I still don't trust you. Like, I don't like what you did. You're a dick. But, you know, well done for saving the day. And that's kind of it. And that's kind of like the essence of Batman. He is a dick, and he shouldn't be cracking wise jokes like that. Like, I like the I'm rich line, because that is kind of what he would say.
That's a dicky line.
But, yeah, it's a dicky line. He's like, well, just leave me alone. I'm Batman, and that's that kind of thing. He shouldn't be cracking wise. Yeah, he's very upsetting in this film. Let's talk about this film. Looks atrocious.
It does.
One of the worst looking films I've ever seen, and it cost $300 million. Jeez. It's one of the most expensive films ever made. I think it's second. Let's have a look, because I like this show to have good facts. Most expensive films ever made. I'm sure it's up there.
I didn't realise it was.
Fifth. Joint fifth.
What's 4, 3, 2, 1?
I'll give you one guess for first. If you get it, I'll give you 20 quid.
What's top?
Yeah, what's the most expensive film ever made?
Avatar.
No. Pirates of the Caribbean on Stranger Tides.
No way.
2011. Yep.
Fucking hell.
That's the most expensive film. Let me see how much that was. $379 million.
Wow.
And then second, third, and fourth in this order is Age of Ultron, Endgame, Infinity War. Then joint fifth is Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End and Justice League.
Wow.
Which is insane, isn't
it?
So
Whedon's been involved in 2 of them.
Yeah. He's been involved in 2 of them. Just having a look. Yeah, Batman: Dawn of Justice is 10th.
Interesting.
So, yeah, I mean, for how much it costs, I mean, it just everything looks awful. Like, even like fight scenes are shot, and it just looks terrible. Like in Batman vs Superman, everything was so deliberate. You got the best angles of the characters. It's like one shot I like is when Batman's in his car and he's about to hit Superman. Even though the scene doesn't make any sense, is that he sees Superman standing there, and you just see the white of his eyes, and obviously all his cowl is all black, and it's all just sticking out like a sore thumb, like these whites of his eyes. I don't know why I like that, but it just stands out so visually to me. There's nothing like that in this.
No, of course not. Of course not. Well, that's studio interference, isn't it? They don't get it.
Yeah.
They don't get that shit, do they? You know.
No, exactly. Well, they obviously went, like we said, this is why it is. Because financial reasons, and they went, let's make it look like a Marvel film. Let's turn the color grading up, and just get everything looking bright and colorful. And it's just a visual nightmare, because the thing is, it wasn't shot like that. It wasn't shot to look like that. And when you turn up the coloring, everything then looks wrong. And I think one of the biggest things that looks awful is Batman's suit. And I love that suit in BVS, but in this it looks weird and fake and rubbery, like it didn't in the previous one, because it just doesn't hold up to that lighting.
No, I completely agree with that. Yeah, it's annoying, isn't it? It's like you get a director in like this to come in and do this sort of like, take over the reins, but because he's under such strict instructions from the studio, it doesn't allow the director to put his own stamp on it. And I think that's what's obviously made a massive negative impact on this movie. It just doesn't look right at all, does it?
No, like all the scenes in Russia in the final battle, and there's all this colourful weeds coming out of the ground, and it just looks so fake. All the backgrounds look awful because they've turned up the colour grading. There's a scene when Batman's talking to Aquaman, and Aquaman's standing in the sea, and the mountains behind him, it just looks like someone's just painted it. It looks awful. There's even when they're going to Themyscira, and it's just... all it is a shot panning over to get to like the temple they're standing in. They've got the mother box in, And the grass, it honestly just looks like someone's just painted green and just gone, there we go, that's good enough. It looks awful. And I think a key scene that exemplifies this all is the opening with Batman.
Yeah.
When he first meets a parademon.
Yeah.
And they're standing on this rooftop, and it's so obviously a set. Like, nothing looks real about what they're standing on. Just looks cheap plastic and cardboard. And the background, it's supposed to be night, but it's bright as day. And all the buildings around them, the background buildings, they look CGI and fake. And then the parademon takes him up in the air, flies him around the city. Where do they end up? Oh, back on the rooftop. Because obviously that was the set. So to save time, they've gone, well, we can't make another set or a CGI background. So he has to come back to this spot. And it's like, it just looks wrong.
I'll tell you what, that upsets me so much, right? Because Gotham City isn't just any city. It is a character in its own way.
Yeah, it's
Do
a
you know what I
character
mean?
itself, yeah.
Exactly. It adds to the whole idea of Batman. And in that first scene, it just made me understood that the people in control of this, they don't get it. They don't get the character. They don't get the city. They just don't get it. And it's like we were saying already, just a mishmash of just everything just like together. Like, yeah.
I mean, they're supposed to be standing on a rooftop in a big city, but why it feels so constricted, and watching it I feel uncomfortable because I'm like, everything's so tight.
Yeah.
Because your brain can tell.
Just imagine you having a panic attack watching this. Like, Jesus.
I'm basically like, oh my god. But you can tell.
Oh my god.
Yeah. But your brain can tell. It can go, that's not real. That's not physical. They can't reach out and touch that. So, god damn it. Talking of atrocious things, I've wrote 2 lines on Steppenwolf. This is what I wrote.
Very
not
shit.
Much to. Yeah, basically. Not much to say. Then he looks terrible. His plan is so generic. He has no good parts in it, and I hate him. So.
Fair enough.
There we go.
That's pretty much exactly what I've written down as well.
There's just nothing. There's nothing to add about Steppenwolf. Yeah, he looks fucking shocking. Like, they put so many zooms on in his face, and it's just all glossy. There's no texture to it. You know, you look at Thanos, and when he talks, when someone talks, your whole face moves. You know, little wrinkles happen in your face, and he's just like everyone says, he's a PlayStation 2 cutscene character, and fuck him.
I miss Thanos.
Yeah, Thanos just looks fantastic.
Incredible.
The new design of Steppenwolf, I don't want to get too much into like Zack Snyders stuff because that's coming out next week, and we're talking about this film, not what it could have been. But even though the design of Steppenwolf looks better, I still don't like it.
No, but it's definitely an improvement.
Oh yeah, 100 times over it's an improvement, but it's the same old Snyder thing, isn't it? Grey hulking villain.
Of course, I mean, naturally, it's always going to be like that, though, wasn't it? Oh, I'm actually looking forward to seeing what Darkseid looks like as well. And we know what he looks like, but I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to look like actually in the film, like with regards to just. Yeah. Oh, I'm excited. I'm actually quite looking forward to see. Oh, Jesus.
I'm really excited for it, even though I'm not a big fan of these films. I appreciate. Like I said on Batman vs Superman, I appreciate the swing. He went for it. It was a big swing and a miss, but at least you swung. And this is what frustrates me more, because this is just nothing. What are you even trying to make here?
Yeah.
God. I guess we got to keep talking about it, haven't we? Do you want to talk about Superman?
Yeah, I really like Superman. That's actually a positive. I really enjoy Superman.
You know what? Yeah. I put Superman... It's kind of good in this film.
He is. He's really. He's what Superman is. At the end, when he comes in and fucks shit up, it's great. When he beats the shit out of Steppenwolf, it's excellent. Like you said earlier, kind of defeats the point of having a Justice League film, but we'll forget about that.
By that point, the film is going so bad. I'm like, I don't even care. Like, I don't care. Just fuck it. When Superman turned up, and I appreciated. He basically beat the shit out of Steppenwolf, pulled the boxes apart, and the film was over. I was like, thank God, Superman's me. He just wants this film done. Yeah, and literally. So I appreciate that. He helped me out there. He was like, good. He was like, come on, lads, let's just wrap this up.
Do you remember what we were like when we came out of the cinema? Because we watched this together, didn't we, when this came out?
We watched this together, and do you know what? We came out of the cinema, and we were both...
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. Like, yeah.
Yeah, we were just like... I seen Joe, we came out and said, it didn't make much sense why Batman loves Superman and Superman was like suddenly really nice, but it was alright. Like, I guess it was a step in the right direction. Because I think at the time, you kind of knew what they were going for, because it was all getting too dark and gritty with Man of Steel and Batman vs Superman. They did have to lighten things up, and I know some people don't think that, but they did. You can make it dark and gritty, but it was a bit OTT.
Yeah.
Because you're making a dark and gritty and real film, but then you've got a big baby-looking monster jumping around the city. You know, it doesn't mesh.
Yep.
If you're gonna add in these supernatural ideas, you can't be too dark and gritty with it.
No.
So yeah, but then as I've then thought about more in time, I realised what idiots we both were coming out of that cinema because this film is bad.
Hindsight is a wonderful thing, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, but you know, it is when you sit down and you really think about it. What was good, what was bad, and I think this is what I would say about Justice League. It is not as bad as everyone says it is. I think it gets an unfair kicking because it wasn't a continuation of the previous two films. And I think if you take this film on its own, if they just went, here's Justice League, you would be like, okay, all right, that's Justice League. It wasn't the greatest, bit generic, but it was okay. It wasted 2 hours. This sounds bad, but it's a turn your brain off kind of film.
Yeah.
That you can just put on the background. And,
don't think too much about it and just let it be.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff story-wise which pisses me off with this film, though. Like, I know we've spoken about this a million times before, but, like, obviously the film is extremely convoluted. There's so much shit going on. Like, it baffles me every time because we spoke about this. We actually did a podcast on Justice League about at the very, very beginning when we started doing the podcasts. And I couldn't believe that Aquaman came out after this movie.
That's the thing, like, you think... So, before this, Wonder Woman came out, which crushed it. Then this flopped hard. Yeah. Then out came Aquaman. That made, like, over $1 billion. So, it's... I think it very much shows that there are fans of the Snyder Cut, and they were not interested in, you know, seeing this film that didn't continue that. But it is surprising, yes, Aquaman came out, and now directors saying, oh yeah, Aquaman was made with considering Zack Snyders Justice League as canon. And I'm like, oh, shut up. No, it wasn't. Don't go back on all this shit.
Who said that? James Wan?
James Wan.
Yeah.
You know, and James Wan after Batman vs Superman said, yeah, my Aquaman film's going to be a bit more lighthearted. Like, way to distance yourself, mate. And now it's all going well. He's like, oh yeah, no, that was the film I took into consideration. It's like, oh, fuck off. No, you didn't. Like, that Aquaman has nothing to do with Justice League.
No, of course not.
In no way ever. No. They distanced themselves. They went, we'll just make an Aquaman film.
I think there's stuff in the Snyder Cut, though, which is gonna have a bit more to do with Aquaman. Like, you've seen the footage of Willem Dafoe and Aquaman, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. He was already said to be in it. What, in the original one? Then they said, oh yeah, we can't see.
Yeah, they were all those stills, weren't they? Them both. Mm. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, should we talk a little bit about Aquaman in this film?
Yeah, fuck it, why not?
Yeah, he's not that interesting.
He annoys the fuck
I like he litters in the ocean. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, he throws a bottle in the ocean. I'm like, you live there, you dick.
I don't get it. I know a lot of people like his take on Aquaman, but I don't like it. And like you said, that whole thing of him throwing a bottle in the ocean, it's like he's doing like a commercial for like Jack Daniels. It doesn't seem like a fucking film, does it? Like, it's not right.
Yeah.
Like,
just like...
So you target a fish. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Come on. You were branding people. Like, now you're a fucking joker. I can't do it. I just can't do it.
The Flash in this. I wrote, he walks the line of being funny and incredibly annoying and steps over it completely to be annoying. When I looked at just a quick summary of reviews of this film, they're like, film's bad, but Ezra Miller and Gal Gadot, they're all right. And I would say they're both probably the worst in this film.
Well, I've written down here, don't like Ezra Miller's take on this, on the character.
Yeah.
At all.
I feel like a lot of his stuff was rewritten as well.
Yeah.
There's like stuff like talking about brunch. He's like, what is brunch? You know, you stand in line for an hour. And I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? Like, it's not even topical. It's not even a topical thing to talk about. And then he's like, oh, look, the bat signal, because you're Batman. And I'm like, oh, I get it, because if I was standing with Bruce Wayne, that's how I would react. He's my in. He's the guy I'm supposed to relate to. Oh, fuck that guy.
He really, really, really should have had a solo film before this. There's so much shit which... He's a great age, for instance. You know, he's a good... He would have been a great character to actually, like, wield a trilogy of movies with. Like, considering they only made, like, 2 films before this as well. Like, it's just pointless. It's just absolutely ridiculous. Like, I've written down great age, good actor, could have been a real turning point for the DC, but they fucked it and threw him into this film, and it didn't work at all.
And now they're going to do Flashpoint and rewrite it all again.
It's so pointless. And another character as well. Cyborg. So rushed. Not a fan of the character one bit.
I think he is... a quick note on Flash. I also wrote, learn to run, you idiot. He falls over at least twice.
Yeah.
And I would say, if I was that fast, all I would do was practice. And he keeps falling over.
Yeah.
And it really fucks me off.
No, I get you. I'm with you on that.
And then there's a scene that doesn't make any sense in Russia when he's running around this like big tube, and he trips again, and Batman hits him with a grapple gun and saves him, and he says thank you. And I say, how did Batman see him? Because that doesn't make any sense.
I agree.
Anyway,
I'm with
Cyborg.
No, let's not get too into that.
Anyway. So whatever. Just Flash annoys me. I wanted to punch him square in his face.
He's an annoying character, and it just adds to it of all the shit that's been going on with him as well. You just don't like. It just doesn't. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, whatever. Cyborg. He's barely in it, but I think when he is, he's quite good. He's all right, but he just has nothing to do. There's like a subplot where Aquaman's like, "Is this guy a bad guy?" And Cyborg's like, "Maybe I'm a bad guy." He's not. He's just not a bad guy, and that's completely abandoned.
What was the point of him?
I know. When it started, it was like, you know, he's dealing with being the monster, and, you know, who even is he? And then he just helps, and that's kind of it.
He just wears a hoodie all the time and just looks threatening without being threatening. You know what I mean?
It's all like... It's like dealing with like his humanity, and like at the start of it, I was like, yeah, that's kind of what they're going for. Like, is he even human anymore? And then they just kind of...
That's one thing I think we're going to get a lot of in Snyder's. I think we're going to get a lot more Cyborg.
Yeah, he says he's the heart of the film, isn't he? He's the heart. And there was also a scene I noticed where there's an error. Silas Stone is doing experiments on him, and he still has his full torso and body. Well, in Batman vs Superman, he just had his chest. And then in this, he obviously is completely... a robot, so doesn't make any sense. Yeah, Cyborg doesn't have much to do. I think he's good when he's in it, but it's just like I don't even get that subplot. Like, they all stop and they're like, oh, he could be working for the villains, and it's just nothing comes of it.
It's ridiculous. This is just ridiculous.
Fuck this film, man. Fuck this film.
The more you talk about it, the more it pisses you off.
Yeah, I'm getting really angry now.
I am as well.
Have I got any more notes on this? No.
Everything I've written down is all in like big bold letters with exclamation marks following it, or like underlining and shit like that. Like, ridiculous.
Do you know what? This is the last thing I want to talk about. What the fuck's going on with that Russian family?
Oh man, it's just so pointless. They're literally in this film to show that Superman does more than just destroy cities. That is it. It's showing that loving aspect of Superman, isn't it? You know.
I just don't get it. That's a very Whedon-esque element, because he had a load of scenes cut in Avengers, where Captain America talks to a waitress, and he wanted to get her number but didn't, and then you see a couple more scenes of her, but they cut it all. And it's same again in Avengers Age of Ultron. There was a child and a woman. Yeah. They had a load of scenes together. They all got cut. It's a very Whedon-esque thing, and I feel like Warner Brothers didn't have the bottle to cut it, because they were like, Superman kills a lot of people. Perhaps we should leave these guys in it.
Yeah, yeah. That is literally the weird thing is though, is that you can do that, right? You can do that and show that happen in the final scene, final, but you don't have to keep showing them throughout the film. It didn't make any sense. Like, we don't give a fuck.
And the film's like, try and relate to these people.
Yeah.
Do you know who I want to relate to? The fucking main characters, the fucking Justice League. I want to relate to them. Like, and you just like you keep stopping. They stop like 3 times. Stop it, and they're like, "Oh, here's what this family's doing." They're just sitting in a house, not actively going out. It's not like it's not like they've left the house and stumbled upon Steppenwolf, and then in that process, got taken, and it's moved the plot forward. It's just them sitting in there like, "Oh fuck."
It's such an odd decision. It's like when this was being written and stuff. Did people really think like, all right, we're just starting to get to the nitty gritty with the Justice League now? Oh, but do you know what? We haven't actually shown the audience what's going on with this fucking Eastern European family. Let's quickly just divert. Like, no.
Yeah, the audience needs to relate to someone. Fuck off.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I tell you what does annoy me as well. Like when they finally go off to fight Steppenwolf. One scene first of all, they all get in the plane. And here's just an error I noticed. They all go up in the elevator. They're all like looking up. It's supposed to be like the hero shot. And I was like, cool. Then they all get in the plane, Bat's plane. And then Alfred's just standing there, just watching them go off. And so I thought, why is this so weird and slow? He's just standing there watching them spin round. But then also I went, but when they were in the elevator, he wasn't there. And now he's there? Like, what? I was like, so then I just thought, there must have been a scene cut. There must have been a scene where they spoke, because it just makes no sense. Just crop him out. He doesn't need to be in there.
I didn't even notice
Fucking
that.
Hell. Yeah.
I didn't notice that. There's a scene before that cut out where he says, "Do you feel it, Master? The rage." It would have been like one like that. Batman's just getting his brand out, and Ralph was like, "Nah, you don't need that for this."
Brand Steppenwolf. Fucking
imagine just throttling, branding Steppenwolf.
Yeah. And that's like, it annoys me. They're like, go in and they got the plan. And what's Batman's plan? Oh, I'll just do it all myself. No, you spent 2 hours assembling the team, and then you're like, no, you all wait here. I'm gonna go solo. I'm like, yeah.
Oh god, fuck me. I really hope that Snyder's film is better than this shit.
Oh, it has to be. It has to be, surely. It has to be better.
Oh, I'm gonna watch it on Thursday afternoon as well. I'm quite.
Yeah.
It better not be a waste of an afternoon, please, God. I booked the afternoon off work for this. Please don't do. Yeah.
Where do you stand on the post-credit scenes? There's 2 of them.
What were they? I can't even remember.
I like one of them.
Go on.
There's actually, I should have added that to my list, where Superman and Flash have a race.
Oh yeah,
that's a fun little scene.
Yeah, that's fine.
That's a fun little
thing. That is what it is. That's fine. Yeah.
That's like a Marvel scene.
Yeah.
You have a little fun, cute one, and I like the fun, cute ones. And then you have one that sets up the new film, and it's where Lex Luthor is on his boat.
Yeah.
He's in his suit. He's now Gene Hackman Lex. I don't understand why he's changed his style from, a t-shirt and blazer to a full suit, but, whatever.
Yeah.
And he gets old Deathstroke up and he says,
Manganiello.
Shouldn't we have... He says, shouldn't we have a league of our own? And do you know what I thought? What, like the baseball film that Tom Hanks was in? That's so weird, that line. I'm like, who wrote that? Who wrote that and thought that was a good idea?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The idea is cool, though. The idea is cool. That is quite a cool thing, though, isn't it? Let's be honest. Like...
Yeah. I don't actually, Jar. I don't mind that post-credits.
No, I don't. I don't mind either of them. Yeah.
I don't mind either of them.
Where are they? In fucking like Monaco or something?
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, shouldn't people be out looking for him?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. I want to know what happened.
That's a reshoot, isn't it?
Oh, is Jesse Eisenberg in the Snyder Cut?
Yeah, there's wasn't one of the trailers with his narration?
Can't even remember.
They said he was going to be in it, and then he was only ever in a post-credit. I think he'll have a scene or 2. I reckon he will.
Are the red capes coming?
Yeah. What the fuck was that? No,
what was that even about? The red capes are coming, and then it never ever gets mentioned again. The bell has been rung. It's so
Ding,
funny.
ding, 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 ding.
Yeah, it's so annoying.
He's got like snot coming from his nostrils.
Ding, 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 ding. Jesus Christ, man.
Do you know, this is one of the funny things in this. I do like in this that Martha Kent is losing her house, and Batman doesn't step in to help.
It's quite
even though
odd.
he paid for the funeral. He paid for the funeral a month ago.
Yeah.
And she's like, I lost my house. And he's like, no.
Tough break. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
I thought you were rich, mate. What a joke.
Yeah, he just buys the bank instead, doesn't he? I guess that's where his profit margin was. That's where he was making the money.
Fucking hell. God,
So yeah, I guess that's Justice League. This film's one big wet fart.
I'm
really.
so glad I never have to watch this again.
Yeah, I'll never watch this again. But I will maintain it is honestly not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not good, and it's worse than what come before. But on its own, it's fine-ish.
I'll give it 3 months, and for what another reason you'll be making me rewatch this film again. I'll be like, I'm not watching this film for three times for you in the past year. It's not happening, mate. Like, it's just not happening.
This podcast will go on its natural evolution and become a Justice League podcast.
Oh God, can you imagine?
I can assure you of that. Just breaking down that film. It's this film is one big wet fart. I know I'm wrong when I say it's okay. I know I'm wrong and I'm fine because I know I'll get comments saying you're a dick.
Yeah.
And you'd be right.
Prepare for as many dislikes as you've ever got in any of your videos after this video. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a good video on this on why it failed. My little why your blockbuster failed. But I did this and Batman vs Superman. Batman vs Superman 1 got some hate.
I'm not surprised.
Naturally.
I'm not surprised.
So yeah, it's not the film for me. This
me neither.
I feel we've yeah.
Is this at the bottom of the list for you with all of the DC? We're going to the DCEU, the DC Extended Universe films.
Do you know, it's actually a really hard film to judge because narratively, it's fucking awful and makes no fucking sense. But then I'd say, taking it out of context, it's fine. It's serviceable.
Answer the question, Matt.
Yes, near the bottom.
I mean,
near the bottom.
For me, it's got to be Suicide Squad is still the bottom of the barrel piece of shit. Like, that is the worst by a mile.
Yeah, I think the worst is Suicide Squad. Then I'd probably have to say this. I haven't seen Wonder Woman 84, but a lot of people say that's awful.
I haven't seen that, and I still haven't seen Harley Quinn.
Yeah, I'd probably say after those two, it's probably Batman vs Superman for me. And then I think after those 3 films, all the rest are half decent films. They're all okay.
What, including Harley Quinn?
Yeah, but what I'd say about DCEU, they haven't made an Iron Man, an Avengers, an Infinity War, a Civil War, a Winter Soldier. Something that's like, this is just a good film. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is just a very, very good film. Their good films are just like, yeah, that was okay. That was cool. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, the Joker was
Aquaman,
excellent, wasn't it? But we don't obviously.
Yeah, but that's not DCEU, is it? Yeah.
Shazam was good. I like Shazam.
Yeah, but it's not like top quality,
no, of course,
is it?
none of them are. None of them are.
They haven't. If you talk like top 10 superhero films, you're probably not going to put a DCEU film in, but you'll put a couple MCUs in, wouldn't you? Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
like,
100%, yeah.
Yeah. I mean...
Oh, that'll be a good video.
What's that?
Top 10 superhero movies of all time.
We could do a podcast on that, I think.
That'll be cool.
That'd be a good one.
That'll be controversial as well, because I know that we'd definitely have a few. I'd have a few that you wouldn't have.
Yeah. My top one's Jonah Hex. I've never seen that film. Yeah, it's... I think, after Justice League, that's where they said, right, no more of this shared universe shit. It ain't working. Let's move on.
I think it's going to benefit them. It's going to benefit them so much more turning away from this.
Why do you think that?
I just do. I mean, look at the success.
No, there we go then.
No. Look at the success of the Joker. Look how well the Joker did, and look at how excited we were after the Matt Reeves Batman films. Like,
yeah, definitely.
The excitement level was there. I don't feel like the excitement level was ever there for some of these movies.
It's because they rushed it. They played catch up.
Yeah.
They did Man of Steel. Then they did, the pre-Justice League film. Then they did Wonder Woman, and then they did Justice League. Like, that's mental.
Yeah, stupid.
So, well, I guess that's the episode, isn't it?
I guess it is.
I guess that's all done. Nice, neat little bow. Very easy. No fuss.
Easy.
Done. Easy stuff. You can follow us at What's the Topic Pod on Twitter. You can follow me at Just_Reviews on Twitter and Luke at Elfiarca. Those are the places to go.
They are.
I hope you enjoyed this Snyder DC trilogy breakdown, because it was painful for me near the end. But
likewise,
we got there, didn't we?
We did.
We got there. So, thank you very much for listening.
Thank you.
Goodbye.